Hello everybody and welcome back to Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson, and today I am out in my garden here at Crystal Cottage because I wanted to do a tour of all of the autumn colours that are going on in my garden. Well, today actually is 1 month later than when I actually started filming this video. So a lot of what you're going to see is at the beginning of the autumn colours that were coming, and there were a lot more leaves on all the trees. The big trees behind me here, the aspen trees, had their yellow leaves on them and were absolutely beautiful. And my apple trees behind me here were full of green leaves still, and they still had their apples on them. And now there's no apples left whatsoever. And my apple tree over here, this is the variety Aroma, is starting to get yellow leaves on it now. And today is the 3rd of November 2022. But as I said, my video was filmed at the beginning of October. So what I'm going to do as we go around and look at the different colours in the garden at that point, I will plot in some photos of how the colours changed during the month up to now on the 3rd of November, because there have been a few changes and the garden is looking absolutely fabulous. So let's get on with this autumn colours tour in my garden here at Crystal Cottage. So right, let's go. And the first thing I want to start with is this beautiful pelargonium here that I am going to have to take into the cellar soon, but they're getting autumn colours on their leaves as well, which is absolutely gorgeous, I think. These are not winter hardy, of course. If they stayed out like this, they would just die and never come back the next year. But for now, giving me lots of joy. So this is the green garden, as well as all of the other beautiful colours that are coming up. Look at this crabapple down here at the front turning yellow. And then on the right you have the viburnum turning a lovely red colour. And on the left, the beautiful red dogwood turning its autumn red colour. So this combination together is just absolutely gorgeous to start with. And then as we go up, you can see the beautiful aspen trees that turn a lovely yellow colour. Look at them with the blue backdrop of the sky. Absolutely wonderful in autumn. And then down here at the front, I have this tulip tree. Look at this tulip tree turning a lovely yellow colour too. So now let's go down the steps and into the garden to have a closer look at a lot of different things that are going on, because the colours are amazing. Now look at this beautiful red dogwood. Isn't it turning out amazing? Bright red. And I have another big one over here. Let's have a look at this. And I just did a video on these red dogwoods when they were bright green, and I pruned them back. So go back and see that video to see the contrast between then and now with this beautiful red colour that's coming out now. It's so amazing to see the difference. Look at them now. They were green exactly the same as everything else when I did my last video, and already now, the beginning of October, they've turned red. It's just gorgeous. And then the lovely aspen behind with their yellow colour. So amazing. Look at these closer up. And then look at this wonderful red dogwood a month later with just its red stems. And at its base, this beautiful barberry that has the most amazing display of different colours right now. Absolutely fantastic. This is a most wonderful green colour during the summer, and then these colours, and then it will all turn red, and then all the leaves will fall off. And then I also have this lovely larch tree that's turning its gorgeous yellow colour all over before all of the needles will also fall off of this. So look at the colour on these younger examples of larch trees that we have growing as a division between our Cozy Cove area and our Bonfire Garden area. We chose them because of their lovely green colour during the summer, and the fact that they look like they're evergreen when they're not, they're deciduous. And then they get these lovely yellow needles all over during the autumn season, which is absolutely beautiful. So they are going to be allowed to grow and be topped at around 3.5 meters and kept as a hedge between the two garden areas. But look at this, isn't it just amazing to see? And then down here I have my Weigela. They're also turning a kind of yellowy colour. Very nice. Then look at the beautiful brown and all the different orange tones on the leaves of these Weigela. These are absolutely gorgeous tones together, I think. And this is what it looked like at the end of October in the garden. And then, let's have a look. My bamboo here, which is evergreen, is getting some yellow leaves to give it a little bit of contrast. It's quite nice actually. But they will be green all winter. We have the back side of the apple trees here that have lots of apples on them, and I will be getting in and pruning these apple trees very soon. They need a pruning back. So I did end up going and pruning these trees back a week after filming this video in the middle of October. And now we can get around the pathways in the middle of our botanical garden here, and the trees are looking fantastic. And I did this before they started getting these lovely yellow autumn leaves all over at the beginning of November, and they're just gorgeous. I also worked on this border in another video where I showed you me planting out the plants down here at the bottom that are doing absolutely fabulously too. And as you can see, the bracken is dying back, and all the evergreen plants are starting to shine through even more. Even the bracken have lovely brown autumn colours in late October. Look at these. Now look at this cherry tree here, and its amazing orange colour on these leaves. Isn't that just gorgeous? Lovely. And then over in this corner it's mostly quite evergreen, but then I have this Saskatoon serviceberry. Look at this. This is all turning out yellow as well. Do really love the look of that. Yellow leaves coming up all over it. It's really lovely. And then under that we have another beautiful plant turning yellow, and this is the lace shrub. It's got gorgeous leaves. Look at these. Absolutely amazing autumn colour on them. Doing really well. I did a video on these as well, and well, they turn from green to this lovely colour. And if we should look over here, you'll see my hosta corner and how all of these hostas are turning their yellow and green colours as well. Look at these, they're just amazing. It's a beautiful time of year as well. I love when you get the contrasts in the green. Look at this, it's absolutely wonderful. And then this one, look at the amazing colours on this. Really beautiful. And look at this one, turned nearly completely yellow. Quite striking. Some of them are still quite green, as you can see down here at the bottom. And then you have another one here. It's turning very yellow. One behind us, nearly completely yellow now, and disappearing down for the winter months. But we still have some on the edge here that are completely green, and then a mixture of those that are yellow and brown and green, and just amazing to look at, I think. So my hostas have done really well this season. I mean, this is October now and they're still absolutely beautiful, I think, in this corner. We have some hostas down here that are still nice and green. And then down here, geranium that's starting to turn yellow at the front of the border here. And of course, all of the other beautiful plants here are evergreen. The rhododendrons, the begonias. And even our birch tree is starting to get some yellow and orange underneath the canopy here. So look at these leaves turning here and there while the rest is still green. It just looks so lovely with the contrast. Such a beautiful tree. This tree is just amazing when it gets completely orange. Dark orange all over. It's like a blaze of fire in the sky. It's absolutely amazing. So here I've plotted in a couple of pictures so you can see this absolutely fantastically coloured beech tree during the last 2 weeks in October before they all fall off. This tree really brightens up the garden. It is amazing to see. I even wanted to plot in just a couple of pictures to show the lovely younger beech trees that I have growing in our west side garden, but these are going to be growing up to be a taller bush and they're doing really well in the area. But look at their leaves. They turned from all sorts of different oranges, yellows and browns during the middle to late part of October, and then they started turning more and more brown in the beginning of November, and they'll stay like this all winter long. So let's carry on now. See if there's other things that we can find that have changed colour. Oh yes, look at this begonia here down on the ground. This has turned a little bit of its lovely autumn colour. Look at these bright red leaves. Some are still green and then some are bright red. What an amazing plant. I have these under the side of my terrace and I did a whole video about planting those. Let's go and have a look at those. They're still quite green. But before that, all of this lovely backdrop of rhododendrons will stay like this all winter. So let's quickly go and have a look at those before, and look at the mushrooms coming up in the garden. I absolutely love that too. One here. Oh, such amazing things. My fuchsia was very late coming up this year and flowered very sparsely this year. But it's still going on strong until I need to go and put it in the cellar till next year. So yes, under here you can see these begonia. I moved some from right at the back. They didn't like it right at the back, I found. So there's a line at the back where I've planted in other things, but all the ones at the front are doing well, and some are getting a little bit of the reddy colour. And they're starting to fill in already, see? Isn't this amazing? From when I first planted them, look how thick they're getting already. So next year they're going to be wonderful. There's a weed at the front here, but I like it, so I've left it. And look at this, coming up now in October. This hollyhocks. Just amazing that it's decided to pop out another flower now. And there are even more on the way actually. This is my beautiful crabapple. Look at the colours on that. And all of the autumn colours behind extend on up into the trees. Just wonderful. And then just a week later, in the middle of October, this crabapple bush was a blaze of yellow. Oh, amazing. And my lovely tulip tree also turning its yellow colour. And then look at all the apples still on this tree. And these trees keep their leaves till probably late into November. They keep them for a long time and quite green for a long time too. So they are going to give me nice green trees for a while yet. So that's nice. Here another view of how the red dogwoods are changing colour, and then the lovely dark 9 bark next to it. Diabolo, this one here. Lovely contrast. Just gorgeous together. And here's an amazing early November picture of some cuttings that I took from this bush that are doing so well. Look at the colour on these leaves. What else is turning? As we go along, stay looking at the beautiful aspens for a minute, because they are a lovely yellow colour in this blue sky. Well, we have this Korean silverbush. It's also getting a lot of yellow leaves underneath. Look at that. It's lovely. Bushed out really well for me this year. And then we have a few different things over here. These hydrangeas turning a little bit yellow. And then they've got their brown flower heads that I leave on all winter to give interest. And then they can be pruned back next spring, so that's really wonderful. Talking about those, we do need to go back then and have a look at the rest of the hydrangeas I just had in the middle here. They're all the same, Arborescens Annabelle. So look at all these flower heads. Gorgeous. And they'll stay like that on their brown stems all winter and just look beautiful. So I don't touch those. There's no need until next spring. So look at the transformation of these hydrangeas. I mean, the colours are amazing, and the brown flower heads look gorgeous. And well, the tones, you know, with the yellows and the greens and the browns and the blacks even in these leaves, just look so gorgeous. And oh, I am just so amazed, really, really amazed how much all these plants can transform in a season. Look at these heads. As I said, they are going to stay like that all winter. And here you can even see we're getting on to the beginning of November. And then we just have the flower heads and the brown stalks. And don't they just look amazing? To think that they're just going to stand up like this all winter before they blow away themselves in the wind, late winter, early spring. This bush is a blaze of colour. It's just magnificent. So, back to Westside Garden. I have this Philadelphus down here that is also turning yellow. Nice little bush. And then we have the miscanthus grass here that's also starting to turn yellow. Very nice. I think that's absolutely wonderful. They don't seem to have flowered that well this year. Well, the flowers are starting to come out, so I just need to give it a little bit more time. Yes, these lovely burgundy flowers are starting to come out here. You can see them now, and all down here. So they're coming up, but look at the foliage. All the different colours going on. It's just amazing. Really lovely. So, lovely autumn interest with those here as well. So, we'll carry on down this way. This daughter here, flowering absolutely gorgeously here in October. Still very green, some yellowing leaves, but mostly green. Doing really, really well. I love that at the moment. Look at that. So nice. And then we'll pan around so you can see all the yellow colour on the aspen and around this border. And in this border I have roses still going on absolutely amazingly. Look at these. Some here, some down here. They're facing the other way towards the sun, but there are roses and they're gorgeous. And this one you'll be able to see here. Look at the flowers on this beautiful rose. So they're doing really well. Then we'll go into the inner garden here. We have a little red apple here. All doing lovely. We're going to carry on because there's more of these lovely aspen here. Look at these with their lovely yellow leaves coming up. I just want to walk along here in Island Garden and just look at the trees mostly, because they're the things that are looking gorgeous. And here I have a Norway maple that's just starting to turn, and its leaves, if you can see them, turn this fiery orange colour and reds. Look at that. Wonderful. Oh, beautiful. I really love that. So that's doing well. Changing colour. And just to give some examples of the colourful leaves on these Norway maple, look at this leaf. And then there's another one down here. They're just so pretty. So here we have a lot of the hazelnut bushes, and they're turning yellow. Yellow and green together. And again, more of the aspen. These ones are a little bit more green still. And as we go into the wild orchard garden here, we can see up here I still have a few of the black elderberries that I haven't picked because they're right at the top. But otherwise I've made some wonderful elderberry syrup out of these this year. Tastes so good. Look at their lovely leaves still, shimmering in the light. Gorgeous. So, carry on through the pathway here in the wild orchard garden, and my rock here, Buddha on it. Yes, looking pretty wild and very nice. Oh, look what I found down here. Yes, a slug. The variety that we don't want to be in the garden really. But, well, what can we do? Here we have alder buckthorn starting to turn yellow and green at the same time as well. That's nice. And hazelnuts turning yellow and green at the same time. Really lovely. From the middle to late part of October, all of the hazelnut bushes in our garden started turning the most amazing glows of colour. And I hadn't really noticed this much before because the bushes were so tall before we pruned them all more than halfway down when we started designing our silverway area of the garden. And you can see that in a whole video of its own. But now we get to appreciate these bushes and we can see them from the upstairs window in our cottage. And well, they turn from different colours of green and different oranges, and then later on in October they turn yellows, and they are just amazing, really they are. And then look at this climbing hydrangea. This has the most amazing colour on it. A very striking pastely yellow colour. Have a closer look. Look at those leaves. And look how they're hugging this boulder. Isn't that just beautiful? That's amazing. So let's go into Crystal Woods and see if we can find anything with nice colours in here. So here in front of us you can see triangle garden and the little fence that I made to mark the area. And we'll carry on around the pathway in Crystal Woods, and here in the middle we're looking at oval garden, and here triangle garden. And above in Silver Way are my Norway maple, and again look at the fiery colour on these. We're going to have to go out on the street to see them properly, but they have a gorgeous autumn colour as well. I have a couple of those growing around and about in the garden. Look at that lovely contrast. Okay, so we're outside on the edge of my garden, and here you can see one of our huge beautiful Norway maple, and we're going to have to zoom in again to get some of that colour, but look at this. That is amazing. Isn't it just gorgeous? Oh, and I have a few along the edge of our garden, as you can see here. This is the outer edge. Very mature trees, very big, and that's what makes them so magical. Wonderful. And even here, a couple more. Even here, beautiful yellow and green leaves on this spirea bush here, blowing in the wind, gorgeous. And some leaves on a rowan tree that's growing up here, yellow and green as well. So this is a border that I'm creating, that's a rockery, still quite green. I've planted in a lot of hostas and lots of different kinds of plants. We'll see what comes up next year. I've thrown a lot of seeds on there and all sorts to see what happens. And if we carry on down here, more of these spirea turning yellow and green. And you can see the backdrop into the Garden of New Beginnings, the different greens and yellows coming along. And then we can go back into Courtyard Garden, and I have this border here, not autumn colours but very nice and green in October. I just thought that was nice to see, and a few flowers even now in October down here. So nice, cute. Lots of flowers. And now I need to go back in because it's starting to rain. But I just wanted to show you some of these wonderful colour combinations that you can achieve in your garden with plants that give you autumn interest. Because it can be so stunning. And even our little pond we made down here, this little pond, I made a whole video on it when we constructed it. Even the plants down here that have been doing so well all season have started turning yellow and green. Very nice though. They've turned quite brown. So I will just cut them back and lay that on the ground like I do every year, and they come up and they flower magnificently, no problem. Look at the hydrangeas here again. And all this colour, all the tones All the apples. Just amazing right now. All of these wonderful colours going on here. Just love it. Oh, I think I forgot to mention the viburnum at the back here with all its lovely red berries and its burgundy orangey leaves coming along. Look at this. How could I forget that? So amazing. Those leaves. It's just beautiful. Stunning. So you get the leaves that turn burgundy, and then all these berries that stay on this plant all winter to boot. So it's just gorgeous. And you can see behind the bush all the colours that are going on with the yellows. Absolutely wonderful. So a final pan around over the botanical garden. And then that's it for the day. So I really hope you enjoyed seeing all of the wonderful colours that you can contrast and set together in a garden, and I hope you've been inspired to go out and find yourself lots of beautiful plants that can change from green to the brightest yellows, oranges, reds and everything else in between, giving a beautiful tapestry of colours for over a month's period in your garden. My garden hasn't finished colouring up yet. There are a few leaves on different bushes. For example, my hazelnut bushes still have their last leaves on them, and as I said, the apple trees behind me keep their leaves for quite a while, so they'll probably have leaves on them for the next 2 weeks, and then all of the plants in the garden that are deciduous will have lost all their leaves for the winter season. But I absolutely love this season. There's so much to see and there's so much variety, and today the weather's quite warm actually. It's around about 14 degrees Celsius and the sun is peeping through the clouds. I can see a little bit of blue sky and it's making me feel really, really happy. And this time of year is a fantastic time of year for hard pruning back or pruning back just a little bit on some of your trees and bushes and so forth. So now I'm going to get on with some odd jobs around the garden because there's always something to be done and I absolutely love that. One of those jobs that needs to be done is I need to go and rake up all the leaves. And in this area of the garden, I've already done it. It's quite nice. The grass is peeping through again and I can see the brown of the borders and it shows a lovely contrast. And all the leaves that I collect, I place in the borders that are close by, or I take them over to my leaf mold containers where I can get myself some wonderful leaf mold that can be used around my plants during the summer or later season next year. So make sure you get out there wherever you are, and if you have the opportunity to see wonderful autumn colours, go out to the parks and the forests and all the different places that have these wonderful colours, especially maple trees, because they are just so gorgeous at this time of year. So all I have to say now is thank you very much once again for watching Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you know when my next video will be coming up, and I will see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.